The black-eyed children never opened the door at night. It was a freezing winter night in rural Texas, USA. The clock had just struck 11:47 p.m. Brian lived alone in a small farmhouse surrounded by endless woods. Outside, thick fog covered the road, and not a single car had passed for hours. As he sat watching television, knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the front door. Brian frowned. Who would visit this late at night? He slowly walked toward the window and carefully looked outside. Standing on the porch were two children, a young boy and a little girl. They looked about 10 years old. Both wore old black clothes that seemed completely soaked by the rain. Their faces were unusually pale. The children stood perfectly still. Neither of them blinked. The boy quietly spoke. "We're cold. Please, let us in." Brian reached for the doorknob, but suddenly something caught his attention. The children slowly raised their heads. Their eyes were completely black, no white, no pupils, only endless darkness. Brian froze. Every instinct in his body screamed, "Don't open the door." The girl smiled. "We can't come inside unless you invite us." At that exact moment, every light inside the house began flickering. The television suddenly turned off. The room became ice cold. Brian stepped backward in fear. The knocking started again. Only this time, it was much louder. Bang! 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 The children never moved. They simply stood there, smiling. Brian grabbed his phone to call the police, but there was no signal. The house was completely silent. Then, he heard tiny footsteps coming from inside the hallway. Impossible. The children were still outside. Or were they? Brian slowly turned around. Nothing. When he looked back through the window, the porch was empty. The children had disappeared. He opened the door just enough to look outside. No footprints, no sound, no one, only thick fog. The next morning, his neighbor came running to his house. She looked terrified. She whispered, "Two strange children knocked on my door last night. They kept asking me to let them inside." Days later, more people reported seeing them, always after midnight, always dressed in black, always asking the same question. "May we come in?" Some believe they are ghosts. Others believe they are something far older, something that should never be invited into your home. And to this day, no one truly knows who or what the black-eyed children really are. So if someone knocks on your door tonight, and two children are waiting outside, would you open it?